Right. Hello, and welcome back to Intimate Wisdom. And you're here with your friend Sharon. And today I'm joining Debra Laxon. And Debra is in Pakuranga, and so as you know, we're up in Auckland, and this is absolutely amazing.
Hi everyone.
Hey, good morning, Debra, and thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate you taking your time out to have this conversation with us here about life, about real life stuff. I call it shit, but you know what? It's okay.
It is shit.
It is shit. Sometimes life, it can be shit. So Debra is a clairvoyant and a spiritual coach, and we've known each other close to, or if not, 20 years or more maybe. So I'm really excited to re-link up with you.
I know, it's great.
Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah. How did that happen anyway?
I got a reading again with Franz.
Oh, that's right.
Because he needed to kick my bum. You need to have your butt kicked every now and then, and don't think you don't, because you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most certainly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what's the point of going to have some fluffy stuff done when you can get the real life? Correct. The real life stuff needed to be said in order for you to function higher or on a higher level in your life.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow. Now, Debs, we've just had a coffee. We just had a beautiful conversation. Debra's got a beautiful space here in Pakuranga, and we've just been sitting outside having a coffee, and it was just delightful. And Debra was talking to us about this year being a 9-year. So, Debra, do you want to explain to our listeners what that means?
Okay, so a 9-year in numerology is the end of things of the way they are, the way they will be. It's your opportunity to complete things. It's not a it's not a death as such, because a death has to happen for growth to evolve. So it's a year of completion. It's a year of sorting your shit out, pretty much. So if you have shit in your life, this is the year to do it, and to do however way or whatever's triggering you at the moment is your soul's way of saying something needs to be done about that. You can't take that into next year. You can't take that into the next phase of your life.
And especially with the energies the way they are this year, Debs.
Yeah.
I have noticed huge changes in people's behaviour.
Yes.
Good and bad, the ugly, and the egos.
Yes. You know, even me, who's been spiritual for, I don't know, however long, a long time, you're still getting triggered. I still get triggered. And when I get triggered, my spirit knows it needs help. You know, trying to do things on your own is just no point in being a martyr. You know, if you need help, your spirit will tell you that. Your intuition will tell you you're going to the right person. And saw Franz's message on Facebook, and I thought, okay, I need to go and get my ass kicked. And that has led to a series of things happening. Okay, I had this intense anger in me, where I live in Auckland, and as you know, Auckland traffic is just diabolical. I'm giving the fingers, and I'm effing every person that pulls in front of you, and that's not me. I'm usually this calm, bubbly, love and light, for lack of a better word, person, and in the last week or so, since I found Let Them book, recommend that book to everybody. I'm just letting life happen, and once you allow that process of letting things go, you know the first sign of knowing there's a problem, and is 80% you know you have a problem. The last 20% is working through that problem. whether that's relationships that they're not feeding you the way that they used to feed you, if they ever fed you at all. It may be relationships between parents and siblings. It may be any of that, but it's time for you to, at the end of the day, although you're sad because those relationships have ended, and they will end because they have to end because they're toxic to you, at the end of the day, you're going to be stronger for that.
I agree with you totally.
Yeah,
because my family, I grew up in a very, very violent home. Sexual abuse, booze, everything. And, and we get to choose.
Yes.
We get to make a choice.
Yeah.
We can continue on with that toxic behaviour, or we choose to make a difference.
Yes.
Heal the shit.
Yes.
And make a difference with that, and make our lives better. And what you do with that is entirely up to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, well, thanks for that, Debs. That is really enlightening. Yeah. Now, you were talking earlier on about people pleasing.
Oh yes.
Now, I call it the disease to please. So, Debra, give us your take on that side of that part of your life.
Okay, so I guess spiritually, you get messages, and you happen to say those messages, and then the people around you don't understand, and they make fun of you, and in a way you shut down. You don't say what you need to say because of what's the word I'm looking for?
You don't want to hurt their feelings, or
no, it's more about okay, they're making fun of me.
Oh,
I'll stop.
Judgment.
Yeah. And I guess I have done that. Although over the last 18 months, I guess, I've put a closure on quite a few things in my life that weren't working for me. And now know that, well, people can think what they like about me. At the end of the day, it's who I am, who I want to portray to the world. They can either take it or not. That's not my problem. My problem is how I feel, because you can't change how people think, say, or do about you. You can only change your own perception of you. Yeah.
And that's where your personal power lies,
yes,
isn't it?
It is, absolutely.
It's how you present yourself to the world.
Yeah.
And really, it's no one else's business but yours.
Correct.
And that between you and Creator.
Yes.
Because that's how he created, or no, the energy of creation.
Yes.
Or the universe created you.
Exactly.
Your divinity, your uniqueness. Yeah.
And it's power. It's people taking away your power.
Yeah.
And that's not good. You allow it to a certain point. It's like earth, air, fire, and water are elements of each of our sun signs. They're also elements that are within us. So if we have too much fire, we'll go for someone's throat. If we have too much water, we'll cry at a drop of a hat. If we have too much earth, we're too grounded in our ways. There's no shades of grey. It's black or it's white. There's nothing. And if we have too much air, we're up in the clouds. We're fluffy. We whatever. So within those elements that are outside of us, but also are within us. So if someone says something to you that you don't like, the words come into your brain. And you translate them how you feel about them. Then the energy of those words will move down to your throat. And your throat is where you say, well, actually, no, I disagree with you. If you don't speak or that energy that statement has said to you, that energy will come down and sit in your solar plexus. Now imagine a chalice in your solar plexus. That energy of of not saying anything, goes into the chalice. Again this happens, and then one day someone says, your husband will say to you, oh darling, I think you need to brush your hair, it's a bit bedhead. You'll go straight for his throat, because that chalice has overfull. Something little will set you off. So it's like a candle not burning perfectly, it's spitting, it's trying to get out. It's the fire, the words, the control, you're trying to get your control back, it's spittering and spattering, trying to get the full flame. I hope that makes sense.
Wow, I love that. What an amazing analogy.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I like the chalice thing.
Yes, yes, chalice.
Yeah, because then you would actually feel that.
Yes.
Because you'd feel yucky in here.
You would, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like feeling like shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Wow, thank you. Now, Debra, I'm going to get a little bit personal here.
Yes.
Why did you give up your spiritual work? Why did you give up the readings? Do you want to tell us what happened there?
Oh, life. Life. People are going to judge me if I'm saying stuff. Yeah, I guess a lot of it was, people are going to think differently of me if I start spouting,
Right, telling the truth.
Telling the truth. Yeah. Spirit now, over those years, usually they give me time to cipher, so the words will come into my head, and they will actually, the words may be, I don't know, you need to open your legs more. Right now, in your head, you can't say that to a client, in your head, but Spirit was then taking me totally out of the conversation, and I couldn't filter it. It came out straight as what they wanted to say. So that became, I guess, my norm, because I couldn't. They thought, well, she's not listening to me. And this needs to be said. This is how it's going to come. So it was almost a bit like the candle, or a bit like the fire, going straight for someone's throat.
Yeah.
But when you're more in balance with your emotions, with your fire, with your water, with your air, they let me say it nicely.
Yeah.
You need to go out on a date.
Yeah. When you told me that story, I cracked up laughing, because that story was the night that client, didn't she? She went out.
And she met her husband.
And she met her future husband.
Yeah.
Boom, just like that.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Yeah. Wasn't it pretty incredible?
Because I really believe that spirit have a sense of humour. So
Yes.
does so does the universe, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
So they do have a sense of humour.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. So Debs, so you now when you do your readings, do you do them from home? Do you do them at spiritual markets or at fairs?
So I usually do them from home. I am happy to come to an area if you get some friends together, or I can't come over and just go boom, 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 boom. Just make sure you let me have breaks between, because there's a very oh no, I won't say that. All right, I'm a smoker.
Yeah.
I need to have a smoke.
Yeah.
It's my white light and it's grounding, okay? And I won't say anything less.
Yeah.
You may have to take that out.
Because people vape.
Yeah.
And people,
I don't think that's good.
I have a Merlot.
Yeah.
I love my Merlot.
Yeah.
France has a cider. These are our grounding tools.
Yes.
They're a grounding tool.
They are a grounding tool.
So, yeah. And you obviously do it because you enjoy it.
Yes, I do.
So
I love giving people. Sometimes when you're so caught in what life's throwing at you, you can't see the trees within the forest, because everything's just going on. And I love being able to give those people's tools, and they're not way out fairy tools. They're tools that are going to get you back to who you are. And that's what is important, is doing what you love and who you are, spiritually, emotionally, and physically.
Yes, most certainly. And this is why too, this year, the triggers, people experiencing those triggers, that's what the purpose is behind being triggered, is bringing forth the person who you really are, doing those deep dives, doing all that deep healing.
Yes.
I had a very traumatic experience back in 2023. I'm going to tell you the story. We were having a few drinks with a few people, and it was, and they got horribly drunk. And they said some really demeaning, horrible things to both me and Franz. And I wet myself.
Oh my gosh.
I'm 65 years old and I wet myself. And then it was like I had to get myself out of that situation. I actually was rooted in fear for a moment. I remember just shaking. And I wet myself, and then I took off.
Yeah.
And then I went back to our little space. And I didn't make it to the toilet in time, and I pooed myself. My bowels just went like water.
Yeah.
And it was like I was a mess.
Yeah.
And so that for me was a massive trigger. And I for 6 months I was terrified of these people.
Yes.
I was terrified of living in that era.
Absolutely.
So I used every kind of distraction I could to not look at that trigger.
Yeah.
Just, buried it under the carpet. But one day it just got way too much, so I had to reach out for help. So there's no shame in reaching out. Like you were saying earlier on, when you need help, you've got to get help.
Yes.
And that's what I did. I reached out and got help. And what I discovered was through my wetting myself and pooing myself was how I reacted as a child when my father would say demeaning things to me or beat me.
Yes.
Yeah. And I felt beaten that night.
Yeah.
And that was the most amazing experience for me, because I have no shame in telling this story, simply because I took a whole year off from everything and then came back into it this year. Yeah. Boom.
You go, girl.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm,
sisterhoods together.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And, I feel beautiful inside and out. Yes. And I have to say, you are friggin' amazing, and you are beautiful. I just love your hair colour. I love everything about you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm an awesome person.
We're friggin' amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah,
we're awesome.
Yeah. We won't say the F word. We'll just say the friggin' amazing.
Yeah, the friggin' amazing.
Yeah. Friggin'. So it's experiences like this that tell us that there is something within us that we think we may have healed, but not on the level that...
things may trigger you, but you've thought you dealt with that 10, 15 years ago. Okay, you may have just delved into it a little, but there's still traces of that still needs to be dealt with, and only you know that if you're getting triggered by certain events, certain things that keep reoccurring. It's a sign that you still need to deal with it.
Yes, yeah. So there's a deeper healing necessary in order to bring that toxic, or whatever it is, up. And that often stems back to our early childhood, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
And again, it comes back to the family dynamics. And I mean, people love their families. However, sometimes how we're raised is different to how we want to live and who we want to be. Yeah. So
I remember I did the Melchizedek method, which is a meditation empowering your body module, and you got a certificate at the end of it, and I had it proudly situated in my living room, and I was so proud of it. Anyway, my father came in and he looks at this certificate and goes straight to the library. And sorry, just got something else I need to say. Hang on. And then he spotted everything on Melchizedek that he could think of, and Melchizedek is one of the 144 ascended masters. However, let's if you want to know more about that, then let me know. And then he, of course, thought I was in a cult. You do get that, you're in a cult, but I was going to say something else.
Yeah, it just...
Came in, come back. What the hell was it?
Yeah.
No, it might come to me later. Sorry, people. I should have,
Because Dad saw the certificate and went straight to the library.
Yeah.
And then you thought of something right there in that moment.
Yes.
In that second, yeah.
No, I can't think now.
Okay. That's all right.
It'll come back if it's meant to.
All right then, darling.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so... And was he happy about what you had studied?
No,
right.
But the funny thing was when my mother was dying, he'd gone home. He was exhausted, and my sister and I were in the room with her, and I kept going in and out, getting food and having a smoke, and lots was going on in the room spiritually. And I asked, what time am I going to be home? 10:33. Oh, not 10:45, not 11 o'clock, 10:33. Okay. So I went outside for a cigarette, and I just knew she would not go without me being there. Now, I'd been in and out of the room the whole day. My sister hadn't left that room at all. And when I came back, she said, I'm going to go and get a comfortable chair. And I said, okay. And as she left the room, lights started coming out of Mum's head. And I went, Mum, and these lights shot back into her body, and then she took 3 more breaths, and it started happening again. And I went, no, you're to go. You've done your best. And I've always been a very emotional person, and I guess in a way a blithering idiot. Like, don't get me started with animals. I can't even is it below 0? The dogs died. No.
I thought that for France's birthday one year.
Was he happy? No.
Oh, we loved the movie, but it was so moving.
Oh my gosh, no, I can't do it.
Called Below Zero, wasn't it?
Yes.
And it had that Paul Walker in it.
Yes.
The one that died in that crash.
Yes.
Oh, if you get the movie, it's just amazing.
It is. However, I don't like any cruelty to animals, and I was in fetal position. And where was I going with that? You can take that.
It was about the animals, because you cried.
Yeah.
You actually broke down easily when there was animals.
So I rang my father, and of course, first thing I had to get the neighbour to wake him up because he was tired. And the first thing he said to me, well, what are you still doing there? Did you know she was going to die? And you don't need to be a rocket scientist, but yes, I did. Anyone would know that. And I just changed the subject, and I said, okay, what do I need to do? I know I need to get her wedding rings. What else do I need to do? And I was able to get him to change it from going mad at me to giving him back the control that he required in that situation. And then when we were driving down to Dad's the following day, we were asked if any of the family wanted to view the body, and my sister and my father said no, and I went, yes I do. And he turned to look at me as if to saying, don't be a stupid little girl, you can't do that, don't be silly. And then he shut up. He just was quiet. And so my auntie and I went to see Mum, and not a tear was shed this whole time. And at the time of the funeral, we all were given parts to do, and of course I had the religious spiel. My mum was religious, and I had to do the religious spiel. And so I started blubbering, and it was then I was then able to give myself, I need to let these emotions go. And in the middle of the whole church, I went, oh shit, I can't do this. And Dad's just
out loud.
Yeah, Dad's just shaking his head. I couldn't help it. It's yeah. So and I'm very good with when people die, but at funerals, I allow those emotions then to come through, and I'm able to process, and it's normal. It's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was that about the 1033?
Oh, so then we left, got in our car. I drove up the driveway. I opened up the garage door. I drove the car in the driveway into the garage, closed the garage door, looked at my clock, 10:33.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
And so when you did your spiritual spiel at your mum's funeral, how was that received?
As in a Bible verse.
No. Well, you were saying that.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that you didn't want it because Mum was religious.
Yeah.
And you wanted to do. You just couldn't do the religious thing.
Yeah. No.
So you thought, no, I'm not doing this. So you did something else. And how was that received? Did Dad go crook, or did anyone?
No. Dad just puts his head in his hands and shakes his head, and then I think my sister came up, grabbed my hand, and she said the speech that needed to be said while I was blubbering. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because you've got to do what your heart's saying.
It is.
And you know what? That'll be your mum.
Yes.
Speaking to you and say, hey, no, let's just forget about the religious
Yes.
stuff. Because I've learned something since I've been over here.
And although my mother and I, what she gave to me in death, she far surpassed what she gave to me in life. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
For the least, everyone's spiritual, no matter who it is, whether they boo-hoo, all the spiritual stuff, they are spiritual. And sometimes when death is close, that's when they start to realise that, but we're all spiritual. It's just whether you're awake to it or not.
Yes, that's right, because we are divine beings. We're the spark of the universe. You call it the universe, creator, God, whatever you want. Yeah, okay. Now, you were telling us about, we're just going to touch on the subject, but Debra was telling us about a booster that she received.
Oh, yes.
With a COVID booster, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
do you want to tell us about that too? Because that was an amazing story.
Yes.
So you've got to hear this.
Okay, so in New Zealand, we were told we had to have the vaccination, otherwise we couldn't work. So I had the vaccination, had the second vaccination, and then, of course, I think the booster wasn't, you had to do, but everyone else was getting it, so I'd be a mule and do the same thing. And 2 months after I had the booster, I had a epileptic fit at work and broke my, slightly fractured my femur. Then a couple of weeks later, I had a major seizure, which I was then put on epileptic medication, not able to drive for a year. I'll be on medication for the rest of my life. I'm light sensitive, which means flashing lights, I can be triggered from that. And I actually went to a healer and I said, remove this from my body. So she did her thing, and I felt like I couldn't move my feet, like there was a concrete block on my feet. And I said, what have you done? I can't move. And she goes, oh. And then she goes and she rubs my feet, and just the weightness. So I now know that is totally out of my system. I'm not brave enough to come off the medication. At the moment, it's working for me. I mean, a lot of you could say, well, if you believe that, then you can. And well, yes, but in some ways you still have to be you. You're still you still have to be a bit, look after oneself. And not driving for a year drove me insane. I had to rely on people. I couldn't just go to the shops. Yes, I could catch a taxi, but I severely fractured my leg on my second seizure. So I don't ever want to experience that again. And should I have another seizure, I'd probably take my license off me, I would say.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not really worth taking yourself.
No.
Because it gives you the freedom to go and do what you need to do.
Correct. Yeah.
Have you ever had it reviewed? Like, have it reduced or?
I'm on the lowest at the moment.
Right. Okay.
So he said, the specialist said that, should you find, I think the trigger was, I can't remember what the trigger was. He says you can go up to the next level. So at the moment I'm on the lowest dose.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And so you're still functioning.
Yes.
Highly functioning.
Correct.
Really well. Oh,
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
It was interesting. As a child, I had the ability to jump out of my body, only because of what was going on at home.
Yes.
I used to be able to just shift out of my body and go up and visit the masters.
Yes. Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was 7 years old.
Yeah.
And I remember my teacher, Mrs. Bruce, never forgotten the name. She looked like a Bruce too, because she had this really tight bun up in her hair and tight fitting dress, and I don't think she was ever. It might have been Miss Bruce. Anyway, so one Friday, she comes and knocks on Mum and Dad's door, and she says something wrong with Sharon, because she gets into a catatonic state and I can't pull her out. So anyway, Mum takes me to the doctor, and then I get sent to Hamilton, and they had all these plugs put into my head.
Yes.
And I remember the doctor or the specialist had a wooden leg, and he was tapping it with his pen, making me laugh.
Yeah.
So anyway, he put these plugs around my heart, and he said, "Now, Sharon, I'm lying down." He says, "What I want you to do is I want you to go to your safe space. Go, just imagine yourself flying off somewhere, you know." So I did. I went off and visited. I went up and visited upstairs. Anyway, so when I come out, there's this printout, about 4 lines, all these printouts. And he said to my mother, "Yes, there is definitely something going on with Sharon's brain." So anyway, I went on phenobarbital.
Oh my God.
Which is a barbiturate. Okay, so from the age of 7 to 12, I have absolutely no memory.
No, you wouldn't have.
Anything.
No.
Anyway, we shifted from Tokoroa back to Taranaki, went to a Dr. Scott in Eltham, and I remember him saying to my mum, "There's nothing wrong with that girl.
Yeah.
Get her off those pills." And I thought, well, that's interesting. Because I was 12 going on 13, and I went off those pills. There was nothing wrong with me. Anyway, many years later, France and I just got married, and a friend had given me a video back in the day. You shoved it in the video machine and watched it. Well, it was a documentary made in Peru about a woman that went through stigmata. And there was a doctor, there were scientists, and spiritual priests and things, keeping an eye on this woman. She had the same plugs put in around her head and on her heart, the same machine I remember seeing as a 7-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And they just said to her, "Just relax and go into your safe space." I'm thinking, oh, it's almost like I've
done that.
Echoed.
Yeah.
I've done that. Anyway, so they did the printout, same printout, and then the scientists and the doctors were saying, oh, look at this. Oh, now that there is telling us she could be misdiagnosed with having epilepsy.
Oh. Right.
So, because it was a time that she went into total relaxation, and that's what I did. Went into total relaxation.
Yeah.
And because the brain waves, they go into a different frequency.
Yes, they do.
And quite often people were misdiagnosed with having epilepsy. So that's why I went on those drugs for.
Yeah, well, maybe there's hope for me yet.
Yes, I know, and I just really believed that, and I can still not now, not at my age now, but I can still relax totally. But I know that they're there.
Yes.
I just know that they're there.
Yeah. That's all you do need to know.
Exactly.
Yeah. You don't need to see them or experience anymore. You know that they're there.
Yeah. And so I just feel so blessed that I've had such an amazing life.
Yes.
It's never been easy. I can't say that it's been an easy ride. But like you know, when you get triggered, you've got to work through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh, wow. So, Debs, anything else you want to tell? So, anything else you want to share with our listeners?
No.
Oh,
I don't. No. Not at this point in time. No. I think that's
cool.
Good for starts.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So, what's the plan for the future? What have you? What's Deb's? What is Deb's soul saying now? Where is she going to head now?
She needs to get back into her work, and it's very important to me, and to my soul, is to empower people. Not with airy fairy stuff, but with down to earth stuff. May not necessarily be spiritual stuff that I recommend or should I talk to you about. And you know, it's in that same breath, it's making a connection with your soul a lot stronger. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So because it's about people now. Taking their, you know, stop giving their power away.
Yes.
For starters.
Yes.
So that's key, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And don't. Oh, if we get. All right. And don't ignore.
Just my cat jumping on the barbecue.
Yeah. And not ignoring the triggers.
No.
Don't ever ignore the triggers. Because if you do, it's just going to keep coming back, and it's going to keep coming back.
And I'll come back stronger.
And comes back stronger. Yeah.
And kick you on your ass.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so it's interesting, Debs, because this is what I love about life.
Yes.
Because we've all got a story to tell.
Yes, we do. And
we've all had breakthroughs. We've come through the other side of what's hurt us or who has hurt us. And relationships, friendships. You know,
exactly.
Sometimes it's a reason, season, or a lifetime.
Yeah, that's dead right. That's dead right. And you know, you may find that some friends don't serve you any longer, and you know, that's okay. That's okay. They were there with you for that particular time in your life that you needed them.
Or they needed you.
Or they needed you, exactly. Very true. It's always the mirror reflect. You know, you're reflecting to them what they're reflecting to you. So always when you have problems with someone, start with yourself first, because it's that mirror you're reflecting. They're reflecting to you what you don't like in yourself.
Yeah. It's interesting because somebody said something to me, just sort of like, I think it was probably about February this year. It was a really good friend that had said something to me, which I thought was a little bit belittling. I thought that person knew me better than that. Yeah. And I said to this person, I said, well, excuse me, but I'm 67, not 16.
Yes.
Oh, and I thought I was telling the truth because I've got a few clues.
Yes.
But it's interesting how people like to treat us as dim-witted twits.
Yes.
And I didn't appreciate that at all because now I've learned about boundaries.
Yes.
I learned that most of, you know how the disease to please?
Yes.
And we do the people-pleasing things because we don't want to be judged. We're afraid of, you know, what people might think of us. And so we have leaky boundaries.
Yes.
We have boundaries, but they're leaky ones. So we just let people get away with that, or that little comment, or we'll just let them get away with that just for this time.
Yeah.
But then there always those other times that so until such a time that we decide, right, no, enough's enough.
Yes.
When do we call time on this?
Correct.
Yeah. So, and that's what happens in relationships, even families. You know, we call time on stuff.
And that was a perfect example of Sharon processing that information and saying, no, she's belittling me, I'm going to say something. So straight from her throat chakra, she came out. So therefore she was then able to let it go and not manifest as a disease in your body.
Indeed, And we had a sense, though, Franz and I both talked about it, and we'd had a sense that something was occurring that there was a big shift, because I've always believed, and I keep saying this, that people can only meet you at the energetic level that they are at. Because, you know, now this is something that I've learned through doing my own personal deep diving and sorting through that massive trigger that I had in 2023 when I wet and pooed myself.
Yeah.
That what happened was my energy levels, right, I've got so much energy.
Yes.
I feel like the friggin' Everready bunny.
Yes.
Go.
Yeah.
And Aaron had words with me this morning and said, Sharon, you're going to have to bring that energy down because you're here.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, if you say so, Aaron. You know, so now I'm, you know, and I really have to consider what he's saying, because he sees me. Yes. He sees me.
Yeah.
And but what I found also, Debs, is because my energetic level rose, so did my intuition.
Yes.
And I see things a whole lot clearer now than I've ever done in my whole life.
Yeah.
Because I was sorting my shit out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we all have to sort our shit out.
And sometimes as painful as what it is, you know, it can be painful.
Yeah.
However, we know that if we move through that and heal that aspect of our lives, we know what's on, you know, if we only knew what's on the other side.
Yes. And, you know, it's funny, like, you have life experiences, and I had a life experience which I choose at the moment not to share. I have shared it with Sharon and France. But I went to a friend's father's 80th, and here were these people that had been my family for like forever. And I'm going to each table, chatting away to them, like, you know, people you haven't seen for ages. And I start telling them what had happened to me. And I said to my friend, who's like a spiritual mentor, why the hell am I talking about this? And he said, it's your truth. And once you speak from your truth, no one can argue with you. I'll leave it at that.
Wow, that's beautiful. I like that.
Yeah.
And it is about speaking the truth.
Yes, it is.
Because that's the energy we're in now. It's about speaking the truth. You're talking about France kicking your ass.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a lot of people have said the same thing. He kicks my ass.
Yeah.
Aaron kicked my ass this morning. It's like my husband's sitting over. He's just arrived back from walking the dog, and he's just sitting in the chair hearing this. Yeah, and he goes, "Me do that to you?" Yeah. So, because it is about your honesty, you know, it's being honest, and it is about your, you know, if you're honest with people, they respect you for that.
Yes.
Or not.
Yeah.
Or not.
Yeah.
So, but it's about
again, you can't control what they think they'll do.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's about your integrity, your credibility, your dignity. So those are my three mantras that I stick to.
Yeah.
I don't give a toss what anybody else thinks anymore.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because as those people fall away, you know how I was saying to you earlier on that my social circle's gone from that back to that.
Yeah.
Well, it's now expanding.
Of course it is.
I mean, I'm in your company
exactly.
today. So there's an expansion all by itself.
Yeah, and the sun's shining, and
it's beautiful.
And it's beautiful.
And we're in this beautiful space. And because this is Debra's home, I'm not going to show you anything here because it's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
So just believe me in that, or trust me in that. Yeah. So, Debra, thank you so much for
You're welcome.
For your time.
You're welcome.
And for sharing this beautiful wisdom.
Thank you.
And it's, you know, that's what I'm saying. It's intimate wisdom. It's real life stuff that we want to talk about and share.
Yeah.
And how do we overcome that? Yeah.
And to empower each and every one of us.
Yeah.
That's our goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once we feel empowered, then we've got the tools to help others.
Yes.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, again, it's like we've talked about, is they get to choose whether they want to, whether, you know, they run with that or they just run underground.
Correct.
You go underground.
Correct. And if you choose to do that, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's your choice. Free will.
Yeah, free will.
Yeah.
And then there will come a time that it'll just bubble back to the surface again.
Yes.
And yeah.
And push repeat.
Yes.
Rewind, play.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, Debs, can I give you a hug?
Of course you can.
Oh, darling. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Oh,
I'm going to fall off. No, I'm fine.
I'll catch you.
Yep.
There
I
we
know
go.
you will.
I know.
I trust that.
All right. Well, look, thank you for joining us this morning, and we look forward to seeing you again. And thank you, Debra.
You're welcome.
Wow.
Thank you.
Okay, take
Bye.
care, everyone. Have a great week.